It's the moment we've all been waiting for. The NBA Cup Finals are here. Single game NBA slate today, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to get ready for it as best we can. Primetime TV, 8:30 on ABC. We're going to make it count today, so we're going to look at the projections, comparing my data to Stokastic's. Going to look at the ownership as well. We're going to sim some lineups, see what the best sim lineups are for tonight's DraftKings showdown. At the 4:30 mark, we'll hop to the world of Unabated, get some good bets here. Even if there's one game, I'm sure we'll still find some good plus EV lines here. It's Splash Play NBA here. Another day, guys. Let's get it going. And here we go. You can see my projections on the screen. And shout out to all you guys here. Appreciate you tuning in. The NBA schedule not doing us favors. Heading into a holiday week, we'll do the best we can. Putting on videos here Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. And not going to be doing one tomorrow because no NBA games tomorrow. But I think it's a 13-gamer on Thursday and then a 3-gamer on Friday to round out this weird week of games. But we will be here doing videos Thursday, Friday, and not tomorrow with no games. Today, though, top projected player, as usual, Giannis Antetokounmpo. High price tag for him with the salary. He is 1,300, or 13,000. If you're 1,300, you'd want to play him in every lineup. 13,000, you still probably want to play him in every lineup. A 59.3 projection for him. Your main concerns, and frankly, I think these are more concerns for Damian Lillard than they are Giannis. The wing defense for the Thunder is pretty tough. A lot of guys you can throw bodies at to kind of slow down the production, you would think. For Giannis in particular, I think you'd be worried mostly about Hartenstein. Hartenstein defending the rim pretty well, adding another dimension to the Thunder defense maybe they didn't have before with Chet Holmgren. I think for Giannis, though, hard for me to really imagine having lineups where he's not in. This is the sim exposure for him in the flex right now, 47%. I also had him 30% at captain, so getting him in about 80% of lineups overall. For me, I think it wouldn't be a crazy thing to just lock Giannis in, play him in captain some, play him in flex some. I feel the same way about SGA. Basically, and this is the thing that people miss a lot in some of these slates, you want to generally, it's not the same as FanDuel where you have to have your highest scorer be, the MVP, the guy who scores most of the slate. You really always want that to be the MVP. For DraftKings, sometimes you get away with it where, like, let's say Jalen Williams puts up 50 and then a cap that he's putting up 75 and Giannis put up 55 and SGA put up 55. And the difference in salary between Jalen Williams and SGA and Giannis and captain was enough for you to jam all those guys in and get the value guys you needed. That can work in a showdown. But you kind of have to have somebody here on the slate who's going to get you most likely 40 fantasy points at captain, I would think. Probably 40 to 50 is more the sweet spot you're trying to hit. So very few captain options, really, if you're going to play it this way, that I expect it to go. So, and frankly, the way that's going to work the best generally for NBA showdown kind of slates. So Giannis, SGA, strong captain plays. Jalen Williams, Isaiah Hartenstein, Damian Lillard, I would say all your second-tier captain plays. You have your long shots like Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. I think those guys can maybe get there in some world. I don't think Dort can. I don't think Middleton can. A 22-minute projection for him. I don't think Cason Wallace can. I don't think Caruso can. Like, you're sort of 5 captains you really want to play. 4 I feel particularly good about. I would say Lillard I feel the least good about relative to the matchup. For Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis, they can hit random days. I could see taking the shot a little bit at captain, but certainly not priorities. I think you're just going to mostly be trying to figure out the value, rotate some guys in there, and that somebody can get there with a Giannis captain, an SGA captain. This is a game we're expecting these guys where, Giannis projected for 38 minutes, a little bit less than that. SGA, same thing, a little bit less than 38 minutes. A ton of run for these guys in a game where they're playing for $500K each. So, like, there's enough on the line here. It's a playoff environment. Really concentrating for the top production, most productive guys, the top production you have on each team. It's been the most important thing today at captain. Besides that, projection-wise, I do have a pretty big gap between SGA and Giannis. Only a $1,000 price difference between them, but still about 7.5 fantasy points for me. Stokastic, it's a little bit closer. They have it less than 5 fantasy points difference, still favoring Giannis. But I do think, to me, it's a little bit of a difference. I'll let the difference kind of allow me to be more unique. Definitely getting more Giannis overall than SGA, though. I'm getting 31% in the flex for SGA. And then at captain, I was getting... And sorry, I don't have this part on the screen, but I didn't build my sheet for showdown content because I know I'd be doing it this often so early on. For SGA, I'm getting him 20% at captain. So I'm getting Giannis the most at captain at 30%, SGA second most at 20. So that's sort of the change there. But I will technically be fading / under on SGA in the flex. Jalen Williams, a little bit under the field with him in the flex as well. He is my number 4 most owned captain, getting him in 12% of my lineups there. I do like Jalen Williams more than I think these exposures are showing right now. Do have him lower projected than Stokastic, though, 43.3 compared to 44.9. So for me, Jalen Williams, a play that I think is one where I'd have to I wouldn't say throughout projection a little bit, but throughout the value metrics, Hartenstein projects for basically the same amount of fantasy points at $1,400 less. That's why I'm going to get more Hartenstein than I am going to get Jalen Williams. But Jalen Williams is a little bit of everything. I think this Bucks team as well, a little more prone to turnovers, mistakes, and things like that. Getting some of those defensive stats for Jalen Williams always a positive. He adds value in every category. We've talked about his rates enough throughout the year. And we'll talk more about him in a moment. We see the other screen. But basically, Jalen Williams averaging 1.28 fantasy points per minute, 27.4% usage, 25% assist rate, 10% rebound rate. He's a strong play on the slate. So I do think really wouldn't critique you if you wanted to get more Jalen Williams than Hartenstein. But Hartenstein at 9K is a little bit hard to argue. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate my boy Tyler here. It's a quiet chat today. Everybody in awe of the NBA Cup Finals in front of us. But I do appreciate you guys being here. Of course, streams Monday to Friday, 4 p.m., except tomorrow because no NBA games tomorrow. Hartenstein, I feel like I've talked about already through the prism of these other guys. Top value play for me on the slate overall. Been killing it on the year, averaging 1.18 fantasy points a minute. So less than Jalen Williams, less than SGA, but still a good amount for a guy priced where Hartenstein is. For Hartenstein, too, the matchup positive. The Bucks, I think, have this perception that maybe they have been in the past. This year, though, not rebounding quite as well. My projections do account for that how much more rebounds they allow than average. So for Hartenstein, he's getting a little bit boosted projection. I do have him about 4 points higher than Stokastic does. So if you want to fade me, having less Hartenstein's the move because my projections are actually going to give me more of him than Stokastic people will get today. But I got him in 47% of my top 150 lineups. For Stokastic, the field's going to be at 40%. So Hartenstein's not the biggest stand. I think that's really the main thing I also observed in the some of the sim numbers here is that really not getting huge stands on the slate either. We have a few that I'll talk about as we go. But Hartenstein, to me, I do think has captain upsides. I take that shot. Appreciate OB here. Thank you. What's up to you, too? And even with one game, Spags still hates FanDuel. That's true. I do. I mean, FanDuel, it's just there's so little edge there, especially for a single game. But yeah, again, I only gamble where I gamble. I gamble on DraftKings. I gamble on Underdog. That's two things. And sports books, go to God. Actually, for sports books, I'll go to FanDuel all the time. But yeah, not for DFS. What else we got here? Damian Lillard. So Damian Lillard projected for the most minutes of the game. Certainly has big upside. People, of course, remember back to the days that he's hit game-winning major shots against the Thunder before. He's not playing in OKC today. They are playing in Vegas. So that's another thing there. It doesn't matter. Maybe all these guys partying a little bit too much. Whoever you think's a big part of your day, feel free to fade them. Besides that, though, for Lillard, the main thing is I worry about the defense here. They have a litany of guys that could send after Lillard. Giannis, kind of a freak case for himself, no pun intended. But he can get to the rim against anybody. He can rebound. He can get blocks. He's going to do his thing, I would say, in almost any matchup. Obviously, we see Giannis have bad days sometimes. But that's generally how I'd view Giannis. For Lillard, if you're going to have two guys trapping him over and over again, trying to get him to kick the ball out, trying to get him to force the ball to the other guys, and it's where Lillard tends to have a shot at having a tougher day. I'm going to be at 31%, though, in the utility compared to the field's 30. Not a big stand there. I do have him about a point lower than Stokastic does. Again, not big stands here, but if I'm going to just go off of what I know of basketball and how well-coached teams like the Thunder, a team that rolling sample size over the last year and change would have about a 106.7 defensive efficiency rating, would be one of the top marks in the league. Thunder are good, and guys like Lillard, you can defend if you're a good defense. Lillard still can get his shots up. He can force threes. He can do that stuff. But I feel, based on, again, just knowing basketball and how good defensive teams work, I feel most comfortable fading Lillard out of all the stars. I'd rather have these top four more than Lillard. I'd rather have Lillard than Portis than Lopez. But at that price tag, 10.8, we're talking about Portis at 7,400, Lopez at 7K flat. I think there's really a lot of dings to make on the case for Lillard today, even though people will play him because he's a big game guy and all of that. Look, he can hit. I'll say for me, I'll get him with the field, but I don't if you're going to talk me into it, I would be willing to fade him. That's basically how I'd feel about it. If I didn't get him naturally with the numbers, I just go, all right, well, it makes sense. No Lillard for me. Brook Lopez, 33 minutes for him. Getting a lot more of him, 31% in the flex compared to 16 at captain. Let me see how much Lopez I was getting. Of course, we're going to run a Stokastic sim too and see what they get, but I do want to show you where my numbers are at as well. For Brook Lopez, only got him 3% in captain, so not really enough upside, I guess, for him to hit there. Bobby Portis, I did get even less, 1% at captain, a 1.3% if you want to be accurate to the decimal point. So Lopez at captain and option, maybe not a good one. Seems like more of a utility play at 7K, though. Do I have Hartenstein for better production or more court time? You're generally in alignment. I use Stokastic's minutes for my projections. I don't originate minutes. That's one of the things I've thought about averaging minutes between them and Unabated, but I haven't had the time to like redo Unabated's data to make it something I could use in my process every day. But basically for minutes, I just don't want to change rotation things. I only change it if I have to. If like a player gets ruled out, there's 2 minutes left, their data is not going to come out in time. So basically the projection changes are how I calculate stuff. They look at things in basically a flat rolling sample size. I think based off of Vegas totals. I use Vegas totals, but then look at things weighting matchup stuff. So like if the opponent gives up more rebounds than average, more 3-pointers than average, more points than average, I then will give the team the projection that I'm making. I'll give that team a boost in those stats because like that team's giving up more than average. So that's sort of how I approach my projections. But again, similar process. And then I'd match it up to what the Vegas total is. So like you'll get these extra stats, but then it'll kind of pare down based upon what the total's supposed to be. Probably more data than you need to know, but basically we do things a little bit differently. I do compared to what Stokastic does. And I weight the current season a little bit more than I'm pretty sure they do, at least this time of year. For Portis, again, Portis and Lopez, I think functionally the same play. Them and Middleton. I really think it's hard to imagine multiple of these guys hitting. If you do pay up for Portis or do pay for Portis, do pay for Lopez, do pay for Middleton, it's going to be hard to afford SGA, Giannis, and maybe one of Hartenstein and Williams. So that's tough part, or Lillard if you wanted to go that way. Basically Portis, Lopez, Middleton, less so Dort, but Portis, Lopez, and Middleton all kind of in a ghetto basically where people aren't going to get him quite as much. You can see the ownership here, 20% for Portis, 16% for Lopez, 17% for Middleton. Middleton's the hardest one to get to because the salary is basically flat and he's going to play probably 4 minutes less than Portis, 10 plus less than Lopez. That's the tough part for Middleton, but he's been productive so far this year. So you can make the case for any of these guys, but in terms of ownership, I'm getting the most Lopez, second most Portis, and less Middleton than the field by a pretty decent margin, about half as much of the Middleton. Lou Dort, people are going to go to a lot. I do have him lower than Stokastic today, 23.9 compared to 25.1. Still projected for 33 minutes, can knock down some shots. I have no issue with Lou Dort. I'll be a little bit under the field at 28% compared to 31. Where I would be under him, though, as a captain, I think it's hard for him to hit his captain to have that upside. Bucks defense is really not good enough to take the ball out of SGA's hands, Jalen Williams' hands. You have guys like Kason Wallace, like Isaiah Joe, who take usage up there that like Dort is happy to give away. I think Dort's going to work hard in defense, but I don't know that he's a captain play that you can get to. Like he's not going to score enough. I think really not going to do anything enough, but especially not going to score enough. Flex, you want to play him there? Sure. Kason Wallace getting 29 minutes projected for him. Decent play here. That said, I'm getting about half the field, a $4,800 salary. Looks like I'm going to be taking more shots at Aaron Wiggins. I have 50% flex exposure to him. Doesn't feel great, but he's been a better permanent producer, better value at a 5.6x value. Kason Wallace, though, I do think there's something I mentioned, I think last time we had a showdown slate where one of the guys who's working with that Stokastic, who's behind the scenes, and one of those guys, like basically everybody works Stokastic, like likes DFS, likes betting. They try to get good at it. He had a thing with showdowns where basically he would take out the guys that are not going to play a lot of minutes. So like in that kind of situation for this guy, he would take out like an Aaron Wiggins, he would take out maybe an Isaiah Joe, and like Kason Wallace would be the lowest value he would play. And he's had a lot of good results to that at one point, won a bunch of showdowns in a row for the NBA. So in that kind of prism, like Kason Wallace is your last playable guy who's really in the rotation, who's not a bad permanent producer, who's getting starter adjacent minutes, who has a good shot at closing. For showdowns, it's not like a DFS main slate where you kind of want to have guys like every player you're playing in a lineup ideally can close is sort of what the general rule of thumb is. For a showdown, it could just be a guy that produces well in 10 minutes and he's priced well enough for that to work. But for like the safety of it, I think Kason Wallace is like your last guy here where he's going to get good minutes, okay at doing it. I'm not getting him, but I don't think there's anything wrong with the 37% of flex exposure expected to go his way. For Alex Caruso, he's kind of the same play to me as a Kason Wallace, but a little bit cheaper. Not getting as much court time, maybe a chance that he plays more minutes in the NBA Cup. But I think that for Alex Caruso, an okay play at 4,400. And again, a little bit of a lesser owned option than Kason Wallace. So didn't get more than the field on him, but 27% compared to the field's 31. Williams wouldn't be that floor. You're talking about Kenrich Williams? Kenrich Williams is not the floor. He's going to play 12 minutes. Like for a guy who's like really in the rotation, who's playing meaningful minutes, no. Jalen Williams wouldn't be a floor for anything. So if you want to clarify what we're talking about, fistula poop. Always funny to like have to talk in a serious way. It's like fucking shtick names. But if you want to like give me some clarification, I can explain more. But no, Kenrich Williams is like playable, but like in terms of like guys that are like actually playing real minutes, Gary Trent, Kason Wallace are kind of your real rotational guys, as opposed to these guys were just getting like a little bit of minutes and frankly could see less. Yeah, Kenrich Williams is not really in the rotation. There we go. Okay, we clarified it. We got it. Isaiah Joe in the rotation enough, 17.5 minutes in a game situation where the Bucks pulled ahead. And Isaiah Joe could be out there just to kind of knock down some threes. Joe's shooting a good amount per 100, I believe. Yeah, Isaiah Joe chucking up 13.4 threes per 100 possessions, which would be the most in the game. For comparison, Damian Lillard only be 12.5 3-pointers per 100 possessions. So for Isaiah Joe, he can score fast at 2,800, can see more minutes and get more shots up. I'm, again, close to the field on him, but a little bit low on it because I am getting so much more Aaron Wiggins. Gary Trent, been awful this year. Really is the main things to note about him. That said, he's 3,600, projected for 25 minutes, an okay play on the slate. Taurean Prince, getting more than the field of him. He's been kind of bumped down the rotation a little bit, seeing only 20 minutes here in the projections. That said, I do have him at 12.4 compared to 11.7 for Stokastic. As a result, I'm getting about 2x as much. AJ Green, another guy, 70% true shooting on the year is where he's at. Kind of like Isaiah Joe, but less good at getting a shot off. Isaiah Joe's got at least 16.5% usage. Respectable for a guy who's not a key option. AJ Green, despite the only thing he could do is get up threes, only a 13.6% usage rate, 0.67 fantasy points per minute, but been lights out again with that 70% true shooting. So I think AJ Green, some validity at 3K, naturally getting him about 10% more in the flex. I'm happy with that. Aaron Wiggins is just the best per minute producer at a 2K salary, so I'm okay with him. He's one of those guys, though, where like Kason Wallace's role is a lot more stable than Aaron Wiggins is right now. Wiggins might be able to produce a similar amount of fantasy points in less time than a guy like Kason Wallace can. But I think for Wiggins, like he's just a player that opens things up well enough at a 2K salary. So if I get this much more in the field than him, I'm not going to be mad at it. Getting 50% right now compared to 32% in the flex for the field. Would prefer the other guys if you can get them. But if I'm going to try to play SGA, play Giannis, play one of Hartenstein or Jalen Williams, you got to kind of take one of those cheap guys like Aaron Wiggins or Kenrich Williams. You want to go that way. Kenrich, I would have lower projected than Aaron Wiggins, but similarly good per minute producers. So wouldn't be mad at it. That said, still have more than the field of Kenrich, just not quite as much as Wiggins, who again, I have 50% of lineups in the top 150 right now. Andre Jackson, got Aaron's on the mind now that I know Aaron Wiggins is going to hold my heart tonight. Andre Jackson, okay player. Was talking about him on the stream yesterday with my pal Josh Engelman, who basically pointed out Andre Jackson has been kind of a not good player, even though people think he's been good. He's had an okay couple of fantasy games. For Andre Jackson, he's a rotational piece, $3,200 salary, not quite as well projected as these guys here, like Aaron Wiggins, like Kenrich, like AJ Green. But maybe a tournament option. You could see more minutes, has produced okay sometimes. I'm flat with the field on him. AJ Mitchell, even him, I'm getting 8% of here, projected for 9 minutes. It's a showdown slate. You're going to get guys who suck. It's more about just making sure if you're getting like an AJ Mitchell and Andre Jackson, even a Kenrich Williams or an Aaron Wiggins, they better be getting you something good. They better be getting you star players with it, high upside players who are key rotational pieces. If you're playing like 2 or 3 of these guys, you're just going to be dead because they do nothing for you functionally. They're not going to give you like real points totals. Maybe Andre Jackson can in some world, but AJ Mitchell, Dylan Jones, like just worthless generally, besides what they offer as a salary play. All right. I don't think we need to go to the game by game view. Let's just do the sim lineups here. Then we'll do unabated at the 4:30 mark and we can get out of here nice and clean. So let's go to Stokastic next. Let's change the sticker here. If you want to get Stokastic data for yourself for this slate or in general, go check them out. Of course, the link in the description for all of the things that you would need there, or use the promo code SPLASH, and that also works well. We're going to build 5,000 lineups here and have them compete 10,000 times and see which ones have the top ROIs. So my projections, you saw my sim ownership using my projections. We're now taking that out of the equation. We're just using Stokastic's data, an industry leader, of course, a team of top earning DFS players founded the site. And now it's a lot of people behind the scenes who same capacity there. So great data. And as always, I say here, I love my data. I use my data. It's what's won me money. That said, using Stokastic data, always a good thing. And even for my data, I use their minutes. So feel free to default to them whenever you have a thing where you see a discrepancy between me and them, such as Hartenstein, I guess. All right, there's your lineups. It is 25% to first today, 100K to first in the tournament, 400K overall. A little bit less if you're doing the 4-point play. I think it's 10% to first in that. Let's see what we get. And guys, if you appreciate this content, again, even if it's a one-gamer, though obviously the NBA Cup's such a big deal, I'll be here every Monday to Friday at 4 p.m., so please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Your engagement's go a long way from here. We're trying to get to that first 500 subs here to get the channel monetized and all that after launching in early November, so show some love if you can. Hit the like button, subscribe, do all those things, because it goes a long way here as we get that march to 500 subs and getting monetized on YouTube. Yeehaw, so I can make you watch ads. That's what everybody shouldn't tell people that when asking them to subscribe, because it's only going to negatively affect you. But that's the whole thing. Get ads, we get memberships going. I might sell my data sheet through the channel. We'll see. Lots coming up though. All right, your top ROI lineups right now. And we'll look at the overall ROIs and the top 150 and how it looks for Stokastic data. So again, you got to note right away what you're getting at captain. Giannis, SGA, Giannis, Lillard. Got to have a high-scoring captain. It's not quite FanDuel. You have to have a number one scorer on the slate to have a shot to win. But you got to have good stuff here at captain. It can't be bullshit players. If a bullshit player scores 40 fantasy points, then you can have them. But on this slate, really not a lot of guys, as I mentioned, that can do that. So we got Giannis, Aaron Wiggins. So Wiggins making, oh boy, Wiggins is going to make it for Stokastic a lot too. I thought I'd be unique here. Apparently not. Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe. So 2 value Thunder pieces. Jalen Williams, Kenrich Williams. Oh, wow. Okay, so Kenrich as well makes it. SGA, but they're on the same page here. You get Giannis, you get SGA in, and then you get whatever Thunder cheapy pieces to get in alongside that. Leaving 900 on the table too. So feel free to leave some salary. Maybe not as much as NFL Showdown slate, but you can leave some. Number 2 lineup, SGA, Aaron Wiggins, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, Cason Wallace, and Damian Lillard. So if you're going to fade Giannis, you need that production to come somewhere else. How does it come from those guys? Damian Lillard, Portis, and Brook Lopez come together and produce enough that Giannis probably has a floor day. Floor day for Giannis is still probably like 40 fantasy points. So I think in this world, Lillard's putting up 45, 50 maybe. Portis and Lopez probably putting up mid-30s. Makes sense if you're going to fade Giannis. So even that, I think if you're going to fade Giannis, 50K salary, better shot of being duped. But fading Giannis will certainly get unique on the slate. Number 3, SGA captain again. Aaron Wiggins with that one. AJ Mitchell, so you're paying down for a guy nobody's going to want to play. You do get Giannis for it. You do get Hartenstein for it, and you get Lou Dort. So you're getting one legit rotational piece. Wiggins is a guy getting some minutes who's an okay per minute producer. AJ Mitchell is nobody and is barely involved, but if he gives you a few fantasy points, it can work. This one's projected to be dupe, as you normally is the case in Stokastic. I would say if you're seeing one dupe, you're probably more like 5 to 10. If you're seeing 2, 10 to 20, seeing 3, 20 plus is sort of how it works. But yeah, this one doesn't feel sneaky in the AJ Mitchell part. You could be left with him just legit not playing anytime is a possibility. Your number 4 ROI lineup, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Aaron Wiggins, Alex Caruso, Brook Lopez, Damian Lillard, and Lou Dort. This one feels pretty good. Does feel a little dupey. You got one dupe here. I would say it's closer to probably 10 dupes. You are fading SGA. You're fading Hartenstein. You're fading Jalen Williams. So you are fading a good amount of parts here. That's an interesting lineup. Feels like one where I don't know how it's possible with how good the Thunder are and how bad the Bucks defense is, but it's not a bad lineup. I think it makes some amount of sense in terms of the game theory at the very least. Number 5 here, your Damian Lillard high ROI lineup. You got Wiggins with this one. Again, Brook Lopez, Giannis, Isaiah Hartenstein, Isaiah Joe. So you're getting double Isaiahs. You're getting Giannis in this one with Hartenstein. You're getting your pay-up option as Lillard, so no SGA, no Jalen Williams. I really feel like SGA and Jalen Williams, you want to have involved more in lineups than less. I feel like I want less Lillard and more of those guys. But the Sims here, at least up top, seem to be favoring a little bit more of Lillard and a little bit less of those guys. Player ROIs, let's look at this first. Your only positive ROI player on the slate, Aaron Wiggins in the flex, getting a 5.5% ROI. Number 2 ROI would be Aaron Wiggins at captain. Again, you probably want to play it too much, but technically it does have a positive ROI, or as close to positive ROI as we have in the slate. Besides Wiggins himself in the flex, Jalen Williams at captain, Caruso in the flex and at captain, Brook Lopez in the flex, SGA at captain, but they're all negative, so it doesn't tell you much. Your top exposures, you're getting Aaron Wiggins in the flex and 59% of lineups compared to 30. So an even bigger stand on Wiggins than I had, which I thought I'd be unique for that. And I got to go back to the table. Seems like Aaron Wiggins is going to be your sim chalk. SGA, 46% compared to 44 in the flex. So holding hands to the field on that. Giannis, 49% compared to 50 in the flex. So pretty close to even on that as well. Hardenstein, 39% compared to 38. Pretty close to even in the flex. Jalen Williams, 37% compared to 39. Pretty close to even in the flex. Lillard, a little bit more, 37% compared to 31. Not a surprise based on the top ROI lineups we saw. Brook Lopez, 35% compared to 15. Your most positive leverage guys are Aaron Wiggins in the flex. Brook Lopez in the flex, getting 20% more than the field there, 35% compared to 15. Jalen Williams at captain. Okay, there we go. I think he's an intriguing captain play. 20% at captain. Field will have 13. I like that. I think if you're going to play captains that aren't SGA, that aren't Giannis, would still want to play those guys in the flex, I think, no matter what. But Jalen Williams captain, Hartenstein captain, to a lesser extent for me, Lillard, and then another tier break, Portis and Lopez. I think that's how you approach captain if you want to do it like I'm going to do it. Damian Lillard, 37% compared to 31. That's in the flex as well. Lillard getting more at captain as well, 11 compared to 6. Brook Lopez, you're getting 5% in captain compared to 1, so that's a decent stand. Alex Caruso, 35% at the flex compared to 31. Most negative leverage play is less Bobby Portis in the flex, 7% compared to 19 for the field. Gary Trent, 10% compared to 21. I'm surprised by that, especially with how Stokastic will use that longer-term sample size. But Gary Trent is a flex play, not that popular here. Kason Wallace, 29% compared to 36. Chris Middleton, 9% in the flex compared to 16. Torian Prince, 3% compared to 8. And Giannis, who we saw already, 44 compared to 50. And Kason Wallace at captain, that's fine. You don't need to play him at captain, but barely any of him at captain compared to 6% for the field. And overall captain exposures, look at this real fast. So we can look at some interesting lineups too. And of course, Unabated coming up, the world of prop betting in a few minutes as well. We got Giannis. You're getting him at captain, 21% of lineups. Jalen Williams, 20%. SGA, 20. Lillard, 11. They are low on Hartenstein at captain. I do know I have him, as I mentioned, about 4 fantasy points higher. So that's not surprising. I guess I would be there more. But they're down on him at captain. Seems like a really big concentration here. Jalen Williams, SGA, Giannis, those are your ceiling players in the slate. And Lillard can get there 10% of the time. So I guess it's fair to get more of him. Lopez, you're getting 5%. Caruso, you're getting 5% rounded up. Really, those players, then 20 max if you don't play a single share. Those guys are captain. I don't think it'd be crazy. All right. Interesting captain lineups. Let's see if we got anything good. Oh, the graphs are coming. Have no fear. Okay. Captain. Hartenstein captains. Look at that. Again, you've seen your Giannis's. You've seen your SGAs. Let's try some different ones. Hartenstein captain. AJ Green with that. Alex Caruso, Damian Lillard, Lou Dort, and SGA. So no Giannis in that lineup. Number 2 ROI lineup with Hartenstein, which apparently has a good amount of dupes on it. Hartenstein with Wiggins, Brook Lopez, Giannis, Kenrich Williams, and SGA. So you're playing kind of obvious value guys and a mid-dollar guy who probably just makes lineups work pretty well compared to guys in that range. So that's going to be dupey, but looks like an okay lineup. Number 3, Isaiah Hartenstein, AJ Green, Brook Lopez, Giannis, Isaiah Joe, and Jalen Williams. So fading SGA in this one, getting Jalen Williams instead. Less obvious value with AJ Green and Isaiah Joe. I don't mind that one. Captain contains Jalen Williams captains. You get Jalen Williams with Aaron Wiggins, Brook Lopez, Giannis, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Isaiah Joe. I don't mind that one. I hate that you kind of have to fade SGA. I think naturally in some of these at the very least. Number 2, Jalen Williams, Aaron Wiggins, Alex Caruso, Giannis, Kenrich Williams, and SGA. Number 3 is Jalen Williams, a captain with Aaron Wiggins, Damian Lillard, Hartenstein, Chris Middleton, and Lou Dort. That's unique, but no chance. I guess Chris Middleton, he can't get more minutes, though. That's the issue with him. If you knew he could play like 30 minutes and you're fading Giannis and getting Lillard and Middleton, I think that would make sense. And this build would look really good if that were the case. But if he's going to get 22 minutes, I just don't know what he could do for you. This one with SGA in it, Jalen Williams with Lillard, Joe, Kenrich, Dort, SGA. And this one with Jalen, Lopez, Joe, Middleton, Dort, SGA. I'm going to try something different here before we hop to Unabated. There are players I like on the slate. I'm just going to see what we got with making sure we get Giannis and SGA in. It seems like we're not necessarily getting them in every lineup together, and it's just hard for me to imagine, like, it's not worth the sacrifice to get them together, given the matchup. But obviously, for a tournament, you could fade these guys, but like if you're naturally not getting them a bunch, you want to make sure you're actually getting the guys who are good together. I think it's an important thing. So you get this one, Giannis with Wiggins. I think we read this one already, with Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams, Kenrich Williams, and SGA. Yeah, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. I think that's a good lineup. I normally would say, and I still agree with this, don't play lineups to show you on the screen here because they're going to get duped by people who might be watching. People are just getting the same things from the basic outputs on Stokastic. That said, this one doesn't feel like a bad lineup. So I'll throw the roll out the window. If you want to play this lineup, give it a shot. Number 2, but really, it's still probably not a good idea. SGA, Aaron Wiggins, use it to tell you what to build. AJ Mitchell, Giannis, Hartenstein, Dort. Yeah, Mitchell, I just don't see how he could do enough for you. How's his fantasy point per minute? 0.71 fantasy points per minute, projected to play 9 minutes. If he were like Jalen Smith playing 9 minutes, I could take the shot. I don't know. But again, he's $1,200. No, $1,200? $1,600, whatever. He's cheap. I guess I get it. SGA at captain with Wiggins, Brook Lopez, Gary Trent, Giannis, Lou Dort. I did mention that one already. Yes, no home court advantage, and Damian Lillard cannot harken back to the days where he hit long shots against the Thunder. But yes, it is in Vegas. All the luminaries, the stars are out for the ABC primetime game. This one with Jalen, Wiggins, Caruso, Giannis, Kenrich, and SGA. I like that one. That's a fun one. A little dupey with the one dupe, probably means 5 to 10 dupes. Leaving some salary on the table, though. You're fading Lillard, fading Lopez. It's kind of fun. Aaron Wiggins, though, is starting to scare me. He's just in everything. He's in everything possible here. Giannis, AJ Green, Wiggins, Lopez, Lou Dort, SGA. I feel like, well, if we're going to go with the guys that can heat up off the bench, I'm just going to give you a lineup, I guess. Then please feel free to not tail me on all the shit. It's just because I'm literally giving you 4-6 of a lineup here. But let's put in lineup contains, and this is what you can do with the Sims tools, by the way. Like, this is the control part of here. Obviously, the hand building you do on like a solver tool is also good. But for this one, if you just want to filter for a showdown slate in particular and just get your guys, you can do that. Isaiah Joe. Let's put Joe in. All right, so not a lot in the top 150 lineups of this combo, but SGA, AJ Green, Aaron Wiggins, Damian Lillard, Giannis, and Isaiah Joe. Again, I don't love Lillard, but I do like AJ Green and Joe because they're guys that can knock down 3 threes in a short stint and give you enough. Maybe they pick up a rebound and assist along the way, a steal. I think they're the best value plays I like. The issue, though, is these are all really dupey. Number 2 is SGA, AJ Green, Brook Lopez, Giannis, Isaiah Joe, Lou Dort. Number 3, Giannis, AJ Green, Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams, and SGA. That's pretty fun. No, I would not play AJ Green at captain, so I'm just not even going to read that one. This one's kind of cute. Little dupey. 3 dupes on it. Giannis, AJ Green, Isaiah Joe, Middleton, Lou Dort, SGA. Middleton price tag. Nobody's going to be able to get there. Like, there's nobody else cheaper who should beat out Middleton. I can live with it. But anyway, if you're going to play a lineup, I will probably play something with those 4 guys in it today. So there's your splash plays of the day. Let's go to Unabated next, guys. Let's get some good bets in no matter what here. There's always something for that. Not more minutes of Middleton. I'd like Josh coming in. I should give you all the details I already talked about. He's projected to play 21 minutes or so by Stokastic, so does not look good for him. But at his price tag, you can take the shot because there's really not anybody else around that range you want to play. But let's go to the world of Unabated next. Let's get some prop bets in, and let's see this special video coming up. And, oh, man, I'm going to have to log out and log in. All right, let's play the video, and maybe I'll talk over it. Maybe I won't. Right now at Unabated, stop being a bitch. That's not the ad. That's not the ad they'd want. But go check it out. You got graphs, you got conditional NBA projections. Even though we make jokes here, we can make jokes because of how good the data is, how much it'll help you win using data from a premium team of projection makers that have done this for years, led by Justin Fan, the guy who's made projections. Oh my God, the graphs. Sorry, I was gonna be really kind to Justin Fan, but I gotta talk about graphs. Community as well. Justin Fan, though, really has made everything on all the sites that you know and you love. Basketball Monster, Fantasy Labs, Underdog. So him being at Unabated, leading this team of guys, making projections. You're going to be counting your money. If you follow them, there we got Sirius at the end. We got Sirius. Let's switch to the tab. Loading it up right now. Let's look at points, rebounds, and assists. See if we can find some plus EV bets here. 1 game slate. Thankfully, no Q tags, so we're going to sim it out as it is. And let's load up the conditional NBA projections from Unabated. And here we go. And here we go. That's me being the Joker. Hope that was good. Hope that was good for you. As good for you as it was for me. Yeah, the new marketing. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get that job anytime soon. but hey, you know, if I did get the job, I'd say pay that guy Spags more. He's doing a great job. Alex Caruso, 14.5% EV, under 6.5 points for him. That one's available at minus 102 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. That's like the best bet. You can also bet it on DK Sportsbook, where it is over an 8% ROI. For sim bets, you always want an 8% or higher ROI generally in your EV calculations. For market-based ones, 2% or higher is basically the market-based thing is based off real data. Sim stuff is based off of projections, so you want to have a little bit of a buffer there. But basically, this one playable. FanDuel Sportsbook and DK Sportsbook under 6.5 points for Alex Caruso looks pretty good. Brooke Lopez, over 8.5 points. That one's at minus 118 on FanDuel Sportsbook. That gets you 10% EV. You don't want it on PrizePicks or Underdog, though, so it looks like only a sportsbook bet to make right now. Kenrich Williams under 4.5 points. It gets you 8.4% EV on an Underdog pick'em. Looks like it's not bettable on DK or FanDuel, but Kenrich Williams under 4.5 points looks good to go for an Underdog pick'em slip. And Lou Dort, you can play on DK Sportsbook under 10.5 points at minus 110 odds. He's projected for 10.2 today by Unabated team. You're getting 8.3% EV if you take that one on DK Sportsbook. And is it on FanDuel? It's on FanDuel. You could bet it if you wanted to, but it's a little bit outside the range. 7.3% EV for under 10.5 points for Lou Dort at minus 112 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. Rebounds coming up next. Let's sim out some rebounds. We don't care about the Hawks and Spurs game. Who would ever care about that? Give me my game tonight. Why are all these games up top? What are they doing to me? Here we go. All right. Sip of water. Damian Lillard, over 4.5 rebounds. Gets you 12.7% EV today at plus 120 odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. Whenever you see an EV that high, plus money odds, I would run to take it. Borderline playable on DK Sportsbook as well, plus 110 odds for over 4.5 rebounds for Damian Lillard today. Number 2, we got Brooke Lopez under 4.5 rebounds. Wow. Okay, you're getting plus money on it, plus 114 odds, 11.6% EV. That's a tough rebound line for Brooke Lopez, but what would I have him at today? I would have Brooke Lopez at 4.9 rebounds. So, yeah, taking the under, getting it at plus money. I get it. So, 11.6% EV, plus 114 odds for Brooke Lopez under 4.5 rebounds. Torian Prince over 2.5 rebounds, plus 110 on DK Sportsbook. A rare day we're getting more for FanDuel and DK Sportsbook than PrizePicks and Underdog. But Torian Prince over 2.5 rebounds, plus 110 odds on DK Sportsbook, not available anywhere else. Jalen Williams over 5.5 rebounds at minus 110 on FanDuel Sportsbook looks pretty good. Gets you 11% EV. Borderline playable on PrizePicks and Underdog, over 5.5 rebounds for Jalen Williams there. And can you bet it on FanDuel? You bet it on FanDuel too. Same minus 110 odds for over 5.5 rebounds for Jalen Williams. Alex Caruso, we're getting outside the range here. Minus 144 odds, under 3.5 rebounds for him, gets you 7.4% EV. On a slate where there aren't a lot of bets, you could take that one, but you don't have to. I'm not going to hold a gun to your head and tell you which bets to take and not to take. Though I could. That wasn't a good fake gun. Though I could. As I'm trembling. You better take that bet. Somebody to take that out of context if I ever get a real deal and I'm going to get canceled again. Let's see what we're getting for our best lines right now. All right, only one good bet and assist. It's Isaiah Hartenstein, over 3.5 assists. One thing I'll say for Hartenstein, every time I watch a Thunder game, I'm surprised how often he's initiating offense from the elbow. For Isaiah Hartenstein, I say mini Jokic for like very few players. It's been in the past Alperen Şengün. For Hartenstein, he plays like a mini Jokic. Like he does get the ball, creates some plays. Against the Bucks, I'll have to do that even more because they're going to kind of probably collapse around the rim a little bit. So for Hartenstein, over 3.5 assists feels pretty good at plus 120. Gets you 12.2% EV. Not enough for the pick'ems here. PrizePicks and Underdog, nothing. Everything else as well in the game looks like it's appropriately priced. It's going to happen, though, with no Q tags and a game that's been on the books for a few days. So That is what it is. All right. Any PRA bets? We got a couple. Pulled those in and resort. One day it'll let me resort. There we go. Alex Caruso under 12.5 PRAs. It gets you 14.5% EV, minus 115 odds on DK Sportsbook, or on FanDuel Sportsbook. Not bettable on DK Sportsbook with only 4.4% EV. If you want to play it on PrizePicks under 12, that looks okay. It's 7.5% EV. Again, not a lot for a full PrizePicks card here, but if you want to take this one, it's close enough. Again, like normally you want to be above 8%, but if you're trying to fill out a card, you can take a few sevens. So Alex Caruso under 12 PRAs, minus 118 odds, the normal PrizePicks rate. Andre Jackson under 7.5 PRAs. That looks good to go on PrizePicks as well. 8.1% EV for that one. Looks like it's not bettable on DK or FanDuel, so that's that. And Brook Lopez, these other ones, not bettable. So, look, I think we still put together a good 5-6 here, which for a one-game slate, I think it's a pretty good sign. Of course, other markets to check as well. If you are an unabated member, that, of course, please check it out. I forgot to switch the stickers. We get $30 off. Promo code SPLASH at Unabated. Unabated.com/NBA. Use that promo code there, and you'll get your $30 off on your first month. But go check it out. They support the show, and, of course, they do give you great betting tools. I said this a lot from the best ball shows I do for NFL. But like if you're trying to build your bankroll for DFS, for best ball, for whatever else you're gambling on, betting using great data like this, I mean, I'll give a similar plug, even though I probably shouldn't when Unabated's on the screen. OddsShopper, their portfolio EV tool. Like, these are the tools that'll help you make money and be good at betting and just putting in bigger sample size bets when you can, hitting them faster. You know, like, that's sort of what the goal of both these products are. And for both products, they're used by people that are spending a lot more money on bets than you and I are likely doing. So important to keep that in mind, especially for Unabated, where they have like people betting hundreds of thousands of dollars on a given slate based upon the projections that the Unabated team is making. So just keep that in mind when you go to Unabated. Check them out. Great company. Honestly, been a pleasure to work with them. And of course, they helped me put on the show here. So please click the link in the description. Use the promo code SPLASH for $30 off. And that's it for today, guys. So I'll give my splash plays again real fast, but make sure to check our sponsors. Unabated, we talked about already. Stokastic, 15% off all the products and tools. Shouts to the chat as well. Appreciate Butthole Jenkins, Effect MD, all these guys I know from Stokastic. Great to see them over here. If you want to get a deal, guys, and feel free to tell us Stokastic chat. This is the only promo code that's going, by the way, that exists in perpetuity for Stokastic. They give the affiliates a pretty good deal on that. So 15% off. It supports the show, and it gets you great tools at Stokastic for less money. What else? Underdog, you want to build some pick'ems? Granted, we didn't have a ton to build pick'ems with today, but go check them out. $1,000 of bonus cash. If you sign up with the promo code SPLASH on there today, please do that because I need to renegotiate with them soon. And, well, we'll do gamble responsibly in a moment. So splash plays for the day. I think the value of Aaron Wiggins is pretty much a key thing I was seeing before. I worry the fact that he's popping up in every sim lineup. In terms of value, guys, I think Aaron Wiggins is your guy. If you're going to pivot off of them, as I mentioned, Isaiah Joe, AJ Green, I think those guys can fill it up more. But like, if we're taking plays like that are on their face, the best plays in the slate, in terms of a value guy who's going to get you enough minutes, I think Aaron Wiggins is your guy. But like, the role was a little bit iffy, so keep that in mind. It's a showdown for the NBA. It's the equivalent of playing not quite a $200 guy, but like a 2K backup running back who gets 5 touches a game for an NFL guy. That's what Aaron Wiggins is, but he looks okay enough. It's good work for the price tag, so that's your value play. If not playing him, I do think Isaiah Joe, AJ Green, the most appealing options for me. Besides that, in terms of the core plays, really try to limit your captains. I think Giannis, SGA, Jalen Williams, those guys, Hartenstein, Damian Lillard, you could take shots on. I do like him the least out of that group, but I'm sure they'll bite me in the ass and he'll fucking come back. He's going to win the slate. Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, those guys, if you want to dig a little bit deeper, they have a really harder path to hit there. I wouldn't play Dort. I wouldn't play Middleton and Captain. I wouldn't play those guys. I don't think they have the upside to hit it. But I think just trying to make sure you're still getting the guys in and just take whatever you get with it. Really the game to me for the slate, pivoting around in value, trying different guys. We know Wiggins is a good play. What can we play with that? What configuration is going to get us unique with the value that we have? And if I'm not playing him, what other low-owned value guys I can get to still get to Giannis, still try to get to SGA? Because it's very unlikely this game blows out. It's very likely that the star players play a lot of minutes, and it's very likely that the Thunder have a lot of success on offense because the Bucks just can't defend for shit this year, and people have not caught up on that yet. They're not the old Bucks. They are actively a different team that doesn't do anything well in defense. So that's the main thing to keep in mind here. But there we go. I think that's it. And I like Hartenstein too. I'll say that. But I appreciate you guys being here. Again, hit that like button, subscribe if you can. It goes a long way for me. Again, just one guy running 2 channels for the NBA and NFL, doing the best I can to take all the info that's out there, distill it down, and give you guys something back that hopefully adds some value. So please show some love, subscribe, hit the like button, all of that. And of course, gamble responsibly, even though it is always money time around here. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. And hey, enjoy that NBA Cup, guys. It only comes around once a year. You got to cherish it while we have it. So good luck. I'll see you guys again soon. Hop into the VIP Discord if you want to chat for some more. And I'll see you guys. Enjoy your days and good luck. Bye-bye.